Alright, so I started the wiring process for the front bumper lights kit, and you know, as most people know, I'm out of dash space for switches and things. I don't know if I'll put a pod in down the road, electronic pod or something, but for now, what I've decided to do, most people know about the factory light bar, and that you switch it on once, you're a light bar. You switch it on twice, you're green. It glows green. Well, I wanted to break that out and still use one switch for both my bumper lights and my light bar. And so what I've done, most people have heard me in the past say, I sell these online. These are off-road light switches that are unique in that they are off. Once on, turns on one set of lights. So that first click is going to turn on my bumper lights. So when you're following behind somebody at night doing night riding, you do not want your light bar on. That's discourteous. It blinds them. And so, but you still need to have some good lighting. And so that bumper light, by the way, I turned on one of these pods. It is bright as all get out. Used it to test the wiring. And then the second time you get the switch, then both sets of lights will go on. So now you have everything, including your light bar on top on when you're by yourself and you want the most light. So these are switches I've been selling for about 2 or 3 years. I've sold a few hundred of them now, and I'm finally getting down to my original purchase that I bought from China to get these things cost effective to where I can barely break even on them when I sell them these days between shipping and everything. But I sell them in 3 different colors. You see the green dot. I'm putting in the green one, of course, for mine. And it's a simple wiring diagram. I send a little wiring diagram with it for those of you that understand wiring. It's not complicated. So I have traced back, and what I've done is I found out that the yellow wire is the secondary that goes to the light itself. The red is the power wire, and the blue goes to the actual physical LED light across there, but the yellow is to turn the green on. So what I've done is I've tapped in and got rid of the original switch and its base here, and there's my switch, I think. Yeah. And so that I don't use anymore, and now I use this switch, and then I'll wire in the other set of lights into here. So what I've done is I've tapped in, I've run, sorry, one-handed, I've run a nice long strip of wires. I changed the color to green so that I know that's the green light when I put it in, and that's the power to the green light. I've already tested it, it works great. So what I'm going to do is, in my last video I was talking about putting another button up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put me a button. I'm going to put a blue one in for now, and then I'll change it out with a green one. I'm going to order a green one in just to keep the theme going. So I'll put that button here. So when it goes on, it's going to glow, and it lets me know that I have the green light bar on. When I'm just goofing around and tooling around and want my cool green light going, or I should say my wife wants her cool green light going. She's going to kill me if she ever watches these videos and me talk about this ride like it's just mine. Anyway, so that's going to turn that on. So I'm going to position that, drill that out. And now I have a switch to just turn the light bar on. Something simple out of the way that I don't use as much, the green portion of it. And then the main switch will turn on first the new lights I put in on the front, and all 3 of them, and then the second one will turn everything on when I'm by myself and really need the most light. So hopefully this is handy. It's going to save some dash space, and this switch, that's the reason why I bought them, because I put so many things on my X3 that I had to start condensing and figuring this thing out. And I found these switches. I've yet to see anybody else sell them online, but because it costs you a whole bunch to get them over here these days from China. Well, that went quick. I got my hole drilled. I got my button in. If I had to do this over again, this is real close to the base of the tray. I would probably move these buttons up just about 1/8 of an inch, both of them. It's tight, but it's working fine. So it went in really good. All I did again was use a nice step drill bit and work my way into the right depth and stick her in there. So I haven't taken it apart and wired it yet. I have got my wiring ready. I had a red and a blue switch from back when, so I've got that ready. The ground on that will actually, you can use this without a ground, but then the light won't come on. The ground is to make sure that when you turn it on, 0 means off, line means on. When you turn it on, the light will come on and indicate that you have your light on. So that's what the black is for. The two others, all they do is connect the, basically make the connection between the battery and the light itself. So that's a little tidbit, and we'll keep going. Guys, quick tidbit again. You may or may not have seen in one of my previous videos. These screws on these Cowies, where there is a screw, these happen to be hexes here, but where there is a screw, for instance, let's see if we can get this down. See that screw right there down there? When you start taking this thing apart, these are so easy to strip out. And the reason being is they are not geared for pointy-ended Phillips head. You need a flat-ended Phillips head. So find yourself a flat-ended head, and it's going to go right in. It's not going to strip it out because it's going to get down as far as they made it to get down, and it won't strip the head. It's a rarity that you're going to strip that screw. But have one of these always available when you're working on your Cowie. That's a blunt end is pretty important to have. All right, and one more thing. If you haven't seen previous videos, this is a tool all ATV, UTV guys need. And that's a set of push pin pliers. Now, I have a set of 3 different angles. Straight, this angle, which I use the most, and then there's almost a 45. It's like 33 to 45 degree angle where the heads come together. And that's in tight spaces, but I mean, to have this is what these are all about. No more stripping and tearing up pins. You just push down, pull out, and that's how simple it is to pull a push pin out with these pliers. You can get them on Amazon, very inexpensive. They're called push pin pliers. Well, I've got my wires run, and I am just getting ready to make my connections. I've already added one to this one. One of the things you might want to do when you buy any of these lights, one of the bad things that they do is this little rubber grommet never stays in place. So I like to put silicone on that grommet and let it seal up. That way it should prolong the life of your unit. See how that just plopped down? So I'll be siliconing all of those in, and I've gotten all of my wiring done. I've just got to put the switches back in place and put everything back together. And I mounted the relay up real high, and just, you know, this is a aftermarket or this is the factory windshield wiper bracket. So I just mount a lot of things to that and zip tie them so that they're up high and out of the water and mud, even though I'm not a big mudder. Anytime you can mount a relay up high, because most of them are not waterproof even though they say they are, it's always a great idea. Alright, I thought I'd show you just how to use one of these tools. I hope that you can see this. I'm kind of working up close. So you just cut a short amount off. You lay the wire in between, and what you want is a secondary clamp to clamp around the actual encasement of the wire, and then you want the initial crimp in here to actually crimp down over the wire itself. So hopefully I don't screw this up. So in this case I'm using number 3. I'm going to put it in the slot on the crimp closest to the actual unit itself. I'm just going to squeeze down, and let go. See what that did? That, if you notice, you can see that crimped that perfectly. And then I'm going to take the rounded side, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to crimp that down, and see how it rounded it off. Well, then I'm going to go back into 3, and I'm going to crimp it down even more, and voila, you have a perfectly crimped wire connector. Now, this is done for many types of wire connectors out there, and I hope this is helpful. Well, I tell you what, folks, this thing is bright. You know, video never does it justice, but that thing is very bright. I think it's going to do a great job of illuminating the trails just about where you want it, angled down a little bit for crawling. And got the pod lights up and running, turn signals on right now. But she's almost done. I've just got to kind of put some zip ties on it and finish up putting my console back in there, which won't be a big deal. It's probably about 5 more minutes worth of work in there, and I've got to find me some more zip ties. I go through those like water. Anyway, I hope you learned something. I hope you like this. Please like, please subscribe. Let me know if there's something you want to see or something you want to learn that I might know how to do and might not. But if there's things that worry you out there trying to work on your ride, because we've seen enough Polaris razors burned up on the trails and burned up in the dunes for some reason. Electrical scares everybody, but you know, if you do it right and you take your time and you use proper connections and you think about the amperages and everything, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. And with today's LED lights, the draw on wiring is much less now when it comes to options and things like that. Anyway, if something you want to learn, let me know. Whether it's switches, lighting, you name it. We'll see if we can't produce a video to help some guys learn a couple things. Anyway, hope you all have a great weekend. I hope you're out riding. Wish I was, but still busy working. And hope you all having a good time. Thanks, and thanks for watching. All right. So we're done, and everything's back in place. Again, I got new rockers coming from this. This is my reverse light now. This is the rock lights, which I can actually do away with that and wire those to rock lights directly, because the phone app actually turns them on and off. So I literally have space, one more space now for an extra switch for something. That's going to turn on my green, and as you notice, it turns blue when it goes on. That turns on the green, and the deal over here is once you can see the lights come on, twice, everything. So she's done. The push to talk, see the red horn, and it's done. So projects, and by the way, the stereo, as I said before, sounds really good. I am still not happy with the bass, and yes, I'll probably go to an 8 or a 10-inch subwoofer. I've just got to figure out how to do it. I really don't want to go make my own subwoofer enclosure, but I got a feeling that may be next. So the pods, notice they're really not in a line of sight. I mean, they're in good shape, but the idea of angling them out in different directions, I think it's really going to help us on the trails. And I'm going to have to do that once we get out in the trails soon, and go ahead and get those things mounted just the way I want them to show off. But I'll tell you, again, these are bright. I mean, it's hard to see in the daylight, but if we were at night, these things are super bright. They really are. And they turn out really good. The top light bar from the factory, if I had my druthers, I would probably replace it down the road, and I still may, with something much more brighter. I'm a little disappointed for spending $500 for a light that was cool when it's green, but other than that, it's not that cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Have a good day.